Welcome into this video. In this video we'll be figuring out how we will mount the new chairs to the original air suspension. So this is the original air suspension. The new seats, they came with their own rails to go forward and backward. And these are from the original seats, but these are welded to the frame. So what I want to use is to reutilize the hole that's here, there, in the corner there, and in the corner here, to use a mounting plate that will match with the holes of the new seats, because these holes, they don't match up with the new chair. But I want to utilize the original air suspension so the seats will rise to the same height as they're doing right now. So to create this plate, I will use Fusion 360 and I will send the design over to waterjet so they can cut out the metal and then we can mount it here and put the new chair on top. There's one thing that we need to do in order for this air suspension to work. It's only on the driver's side, but currently the cushion that's in the middle right here, it's loose. So I need to tighten that again. So if you're sitting on the chair right now, as long as it has weight on it, it will lift up, but when the weight is going away, the air will just rush out. So that's one problem I need to fix on this chair. But the other one is in a good condition, except that on the other one, the rails that you see right here, they are mounted to the chair. So I need to remove that from the chair and put it back on the air suspension, because at the back here, you can raise or lower the seat. So if your seat is tilted forward, you can lower the back, so then the seat will be level again. What we will do right now is I will get a template that we can lay on top, and then we can mark the holes so we know how far apart they are, and we can utilize that in our design. And I'll also measure the hole size, so I can have the same hole size in the design. And I will also do that for the other side. I think they are the same, but I just want to be 100% sure. So I measured the original seats that were in the driver's side and the passenger side position, and they are the exact width of the seats that are on top right here. So I might change those out so that these seats have a bit more comfort. But that is not a project when we're going to register the truck. For registration purposes, I want to have the new seats installed because they have seat belts, and that's a requirement here in Sweden that every car or truck has seat belts. For these seats right here, they have holes that are on the back here, and you can see them on the top right there, and they are basically for seat belts. So I will order 2 hip belts and make sure that they are installed before we're going to register the truck. So instead of using the template, I'm just going to measure it, because the holes at the back, they are blocked by other stuff at the bottom. This is 25. So this is 26.5, and these ones are 25, so they are a bit closer. And then they are 30 apart, and these ones are also 30 apart. So they are 30 lengthwise, and they are 26.5 and 25 widthwise. So I'll write that down on the template. We're now in the shed, and this is the chair that the rails are stuck on. As you can see, they are welded right here and here. There are a lot of weld spots. So what I will do is I actually will remove these rails from the seat, and I will drill out the holes right here and here, so they will be I hope the same distance. We'll measure that right now. So between those 2 holes, it's 25 again, so that's very good. So we can use that one. And if we look over here, that's 26.5. So those are the same width. Now we'll look at the length. Should be around 30. Yeah, that is 30. So we can utilize the same mount. So this is the underside of the new seat. And as you can see, the new rails, they have like a mounting system already. I measured it a bit and they are 33 centimeters apart, front and back. And at the back they have 2 bolts, which you might be able to see right there. There are 2 bolts right there and there's 1 bolt right here in the front. So yeah, so I can make a plate that will be the 26.5 and 25.5, and then it will be 33 for the new chair, and then they will be able to mount. Okay, so I'm in Fusion 360. I use this software to design 3D models for the 3D printer or when I'm designing parts. In this project we'll create the plate that goes in between the old air suspension and the new seat. Off camera I went back and I took some extra measurements, so I know that the plate has to be 39 centimeters deep and 38 centimeters wide, and that the bolt holes need to be 8.5 millimeters. So we'll start off by creating a new sketch, and we press the top plane. Then I will select to create a triangle, and I click the center point right here. And because the measurements in the software are in millimeters, I'll write 380 because it needs to be 38 centimeters wide. And then I write 390 because it needs to be 39 centimeters deep. Press enter. And when I zoom out, now we have a square. So we can now add the holes for the new chair. Those holes were 33 centimeters apart, and as we know, this plate is 38 centimeters wide, so that's a 5 centimeter difference. And we want the chair to be in the center of the plate, so we divide 5 centimeters by 2, and we are left with 2.5 centimeters. So I'll select the left edge, I'll say offset, and I'll write minus 25. Because we're in millimeters, so I need to write 25, and I'll do the same on the other side. So now we have the 2 guidelines of where the middle of the hole for the bolts needs to be located. The new seats, they have 6 bolts, 2 in the back and 1 in the front. From the back, the first hole is located 5 centimeters in, so I'll press the back line and I'll write minus 50. And the other hole was 2.5 centimeters in front of this one. So I will press this line again and I'll say minus 75 because it was 2.5 centimeters in front of that one. So now we know where the holes in the back are located, and we know that from this hole to the front it was 28 centimeters. We'll take our 7.5 plus our 28, and we're left with 32.5 centimeters from the back. So I'll select this back edge, and I'll say offset, and I'll write minus 325. This is Sven from the future. I actually calculated it wrong here. So the holes need to be 3 centimeters more forward. So in the calculator I accidentally typed 25 instead of 28, but I've already altered the design off camera. All right, I'll let you enjoy the video. So we'll take our circle tool and we'll draw a 8.5 millimeter hole, and I'll do that also for the other 6. Like so. And now we have those 6 holes drawn on our canvas. So I'll remove our guidelines because we don't need those anymore. And now we start drawing the holes for the old air suspension. Remember that at the back it was 26.5 centimeters and in the front it was 25 centimeters apart. And they were 30 centimeters apart depth-wise. So we take our 39 centimeters and we subtract 30 centimeters and we're left with 9 centimeters. divided by 2, and then we're left with 4.5 centimeters from the back and 4.5 centimeters from the front. So on that line, the holes in the back, and on this line, the holes in the front need to be located. The holes in the front were 25 centimeters. So we take out 38 centimeters and we subtract 25. Then we're left with 13 centimeters divided by 2. And we're left with 6.5 centimeters from the left and 6.5 centimeters from the right. And at the back, they were 26.5 centimeters apart. And if we inspect now, then the ones in the middle, they are 25 centimeters apart, which is correct. And if I take the ones from the back, they are 26.5 centimeters apart, so that's perfect. So we draw the holes at the back. So now we can remove these extra lines that we drawn, because those were just guidelines. And now we're left with all the holes on the for the new seat and the old air suspension. One thing that I want to do is, because I don't like the wasted space here in the middle, because that's a lot of metal that probably isn't necessary. So I'll press offset first this time instead of the line first. I'll click on the rectangle and I'll write minus let's say 70. So I'll do it like that. And then I'll get my line tool and I will draw a line from this corner to this corner, and from this corner to this corner. And then I will press this line and I'll say offset and I'll write minus 10. I think actually 10 is a bit too narrow, so I will write 20. Then we can remove the middle lines because they are no longer needed. And what we're left with is that we have a like an X pattern in our metal plate. This sketch is now finished, so I'll press finish sketch. And now we are in the 3D window again. But as you can see, it's now just a two-dimensional object. To make it a three-dimensional object, we'll press extrude right here. And I will press this plane right here. I'll press the X pattern that we have. And I want to make this out of 5mm steel, so I'll press 5 to extrude it 5mm. And since I didn't select the holes or the center parts of the triangles, those were not extruded, so that's how we have now created our holes. And these triangles right here with material that we don't need. So it will make the plates a bit lighter, but it will have the strength still because of the X shape inside of it. So there's one last thing I want to do before I call this model finished. Actually two last things. And that's, so imagine coming in and out of the truck and maybe this point sticking out a bit and you hitting your leg or something against it. That's not a pleasant surprise. So what I will do is I'll make rounded corners. So I will select this one, this corner. I can use the fillet tool and I will say I want it to be rounded 20mm. And what that will do is that will give it rounded corners. And because it's going to a water cutter, it's very easy that their water jet just makes curved edges. So that's perfect. Now I'll do the same for the inner part of the triangles. And as you can see, that gives a nice little triangle shape to it, but with the rounded edges is very, very clean. So yeah, this is the plate that will go in between the chairs. I hope you like this video, and if you want to see more projects, please subscribe and give a like. Leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions or anything. I'm happy to answer your questions, and I hope to see you in the next project.